What is something that everyone should experience at least once in their lifetime? A best friend. I had one best friend once, like, truly. She's no longer my best friend. It was more heartbreaking than losing my first love. It's crazy, running into her in town now. It's like we are strangers and it's the worst. I still look back on the good times. Ever since, with any new friends I've made, I yearn for that same connection I had with my old best friend, but I've never found it again. Not yet anyways. I have some good friends, don't get me wrong, but not as special as a best friend. The thing is, you never ever will get a friend like her again, because that person simply isn /t her. You should try to learn to appreciate persons on their own, and not judge them by the standard your best friend of the past set. Every relationship is special in its own way, so striving to recreate an old one is pointless. To tell someone that you love them, and have them look genuinely happy back at you. Why my eyes wet? This one hit right where it hurts. Seeing yourself in the best shape of your life. Hells yeah. Beginning of 2018 I made a change. Began running, ate well, all that guff. Beginning of 2018 I was 120 kilograms, I weigh 86 now. I can run 2 kilometers in 7 minutes 42 seconds. Prior to losing the weight I couldn't finish 2 kilometers, and I regularly partake in marathons and mud runs. Total solar eclipse. It is one of the most awe-inspiring sights our solar system has to offer. After being directly in the line of totality in North America in 2017, I'm completely hooked now. Next one locally in 2024. I had to scroll way too far down to find this. Holy smokes, what an incredible experience. It's probably the most eerie and ethereal thing I've done. Pictures can't describe it and neither can words. Seeing the sky darken at midday and being able to witness what looks like a 360-degree sunset was well worth the 7+ hours I spent in the car to get to the totality zone and back. I went with my uncle and cousin to see it. My uncle is about 70, and I asked him if he'd ever seen anything like it in his life. Nope, he said. Spending a day/night with stranger and them never being in your life ever again. But when you think back on that, it puts a smile on your face, or reminds of you a happy moment in life. Priceless. I'm not talking about a one-night stand as in just have sex when drunk and then leave. Like a stranger suddenly come into your life for a very short time, and then the feeling, or longing for that person again, but knowing it will never happen. Like ever. This is my favorite reply to this question. That feeling is really something special. It's even better knowing that I will never be able to speak to that person again, unless we randomly cross paths. Unlikely, so everything I know of that person remains as a great memory. Hearing the ice cream truck music and running to UMOM for money, then sprinting down the street in time to catch the ice cream truck. I work as an ice cream truck driver. Honestly, one of the best parts of my job is looking in my mirror and seeing 10-year-olds sprinting after my truck. Brings me all sorts of happy memories. Fellow ice cream truck driver here. Is there a better job we could ask for? I work on an idyllic little island town and all day kids get stoked to get their Batman or SpongeBob pop, and I get to be the one to make them smile. Can't beat it. Honestly, there's no other job where I'd be happy to sit in hot conditions for 10 hours at a time. My truck has soft serve and milkshakes too. Even adults come up and mention how much the bells on my truck mean to them, and it never fails to make me smile. It's rather mundane, and some people hate doing this, but everyone should take a trip on an airplane. It still blows my mind that human beings develop technology that allows us to be transported in a metal and plastic tube thousands of feet in the air. I especially love the rush as the plane is building up speed just before takeoff. I also find it amazing that our technology has advanced to the point where the airplane itself can do a lot of the work in terms of staying on course. Wanna have some fun? Provided you're in the US, other countries' aviation policies are different, and I'm not sure they offer the same thing. You can take a discovery flight at most flight schools in the US, and for typically under $200 you'll get to fly in a small GAD aircraft, typically something like a Cessna 172. And after taking off, depending on the CFI you're with, you'll likely get to take the controls for a lot of the flight. It's an amazing introduction to the world of flying, and typically for less than the cost of a commercial ticket. What costs slightly more is when you then realize you really want to do this a lot more, and by yourself, so you start paying for hours to work towards a PPL. Going to a concert of your favorite musician or a band. This is a truly amazing and life-changing experience. You feel so alive, as if there is no tomorrow. May I add something to that? Hanging out at smaller venues/festival stages, checking out names you've never heard before, and suddenly poof you have a new favorite band. Dancing with your friends when everybody goes "oh man, that band is actually just freaking awesome" is amazing. Seeing the ocean. Yes. It may not seem like a big deal to people that live near it, but as someone that was born and raised in the Midwest, it took me 30 years to get to an ocean, and it blew my mind. I live 30 minutes from the ocean, so I find this highly disturbing. I live on an island that has a radius of no more than like 6 miles. You can literally see the sea from any rooftop, so this really blows my mind. Here in the US we have the Great Plains. I'm told Ukraine and Hungary have similar expanses. You can stand in the middle of a field and look around, and it's completely flat land out to the horizon. You can climb up into a 10-story building and it's still flat. It's a crazy experience. The night sky without light pollution. Seeing the Milky Way bright and clear in all its glory is an unbelievably inspirational experience. Got that experience in the Navy. When you hit that spot in the middle of the Atlantic where there's no significant human population for at least 1,000 miles in all directions, the night sky is absolutely breathtaking. Came here to say this. Standing outside and you can't see your hand in front of your face, but the Milky Way is so bright. It would take forever to count all of the stars. I've only ever got to see something like that in a planetarium show. Hopefully I get to experience the real thing sometime. Laughing to the point you can't stand, breathe or even make any sign of communication but laughter. And then you start to wheeze and that becomes more funny than what you were first laughing at. Where you laugh so hard you stop making any noise and just flap your arms like a drunken seal and fall over. I love that I was able to laugh from this comment chain. I remember this used to happen with my college friends. It would start with something really stupid, and it would start a laugh chain reaction, and after 5 minutes nobody knew what they were laughing at. Miss those times. The rush of adrenaline and the sudden realization of how mortal you are that can only come from near death. When your life flashes before your eyes. Yes, I can relate. Care to share your experience? I'm interested. I was racing go-karts one day and I came around a really fast bend while I was lining up to overtake a fellow racer. I only so slightly touched the ripple strip, bumpy edge of a turn, but it was enough to throw my kart off towards a tire wall. Unfortunately for me, it had been raining for a few weeks beforehand, and the mud and silt had made their way into the tire barrier. It had hardened and turned the tire wall into a concrete wall. I hit the slight bend with so much speed that I was unable to do anything but just watch the tires approach. Didn't have time to brace. I recall it going quite slow and taking an eternity, but eventually I hit the wall and was instantly unconscious. I woke up on top of the wall for a second, then lost consciousness again. Next time I woke up I was in the back of an ambulance. It was surreal. Apparently if I was slightly shorter I would have crushed my ribs and lungs against the steering wheel and probably lost my life. Traveling alone. Edit. I'm not saying traveling alone is better than traveling with friends or a loved one. I'm just saying it should be tried once. Everywhere I've ever traveled, I've seen solo female travelers as well. I can't give specific advice because I'm not a female and honestly have no idea what they go through, but I know women do it. Do you like it? I travel alone every week or so and sometimes it's nice, but more often than not I find it extremely lonely. I'm guessing this is for work. There is a difference in doing it for work and for fun. You get to choose the destinations, schedule, etc. Plus, you generally do not just stay in a hotel, more likely a hostel or a social place, where it's easy to meet people. Traveling alone for fun is what I call experiencing true freedom. The key isn't that you can do whatever you want, more like, you are the one setting your own limits, and it feels great. A real, genuinely challenging decision. Not just something that makes you think, but something that makes you worry, and stress a little, and worry in the immediate aftermath of the decision, that you may not have made the right choice. And then just accepting it. Because as much as it would be nice to live without worry, it's important to learn that sometimes there won't be an easy choice, but that things will work themselves out ultimately. As a person with anxiety, that's pretty much every decision I make. Yes, I could do with less of this. I think not having anxiety is something we should experience at least once. Staying up all night chatting with a friend about anything and everything. Nothing quite like it. Also taking a really satisfying crap that's been bothering you all day. Yes, having a shit to finish the day is amazing. Being taught by a good teacher who is passionate about the subject and the students. Can confirm, it changed my life. Have a late night talk, or hang out with your friends without getting absolutely trashed. I've had this with my childhood friends. Whenever someone comes home from abroad or someone gets married, we take a day off, or half, at work and do a small reunion. No one seems to notice how late it gets. We would just talk and drink, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, no pressure on which ones to get, play card/board games, listen to someone play the guitar, reminisce school, talk about the future, anything goes. I feel like everyone should at least experience this, it's so chill. Fail. Really truly fail. Also, it only really counts for anything if it's totally, 100% your fault. Failing a class, because you just aren't smart enough, or you were too lazy to study. Losing an actually good/stable so, because you weren't a good enough partner. Not getting or even losing a job, because you aren't good enough, etc. It's the biggest educator. Lost my S/O in December last year, because I was emotionally abusive and controlling. It shook me to my core. Ever since that day I've changed my entire attitude and outlook on my relationships with my other friends. Respect the ability to self-analyze. If you are new to the channel you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then you can check another video.